You are live. This news with Shoy. It's March 11th. You know, something like that. You know, we got to get to the news. No, we don't. We do whatever we want to do. You don't always have to be in a rush. I know we want to just zip past Tuesday. We want it to be Wednesday already, and Thursday, and Saturday. But it's okay. How are you gonna cruise through the week? You know, you cruising on through your Tuesday, or you fucking it? Like, fuck Tuesday. Gotta relax sometimes. Because we're gonna churn it the fuck up in here right now. But first, my gripe of the day. I had a coworker. We have a meeting. Weekly, stupid, useless, 1 hour meeting. Every fucking Monday. I got a boss that's a dimwit. Hey, Shoy, can you schedule this meeting for every week? Why? For what? You know, keep us on track. We did an hour for that? Stupid! Stupid woman! Stupid lady. I let her have it. One day, I let her have it already. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. That's corporate speak for, hey, you're fucking stupid. Sometimes you gotta talk to your boss like that. Like, I'm sorry, okay? Sometimes you need to just talk to your boss like that. I've had a lot of bosses. We all have. I'm like, hey, you fucking dumb, man. You stupid. You dumb. And this is coming from someone that's extremely employee-centric. I was nominated to be the president of our tech union that we're a part of. Of course, I didn't show up to any of the meetings because I didn't want any of the responsibility. Hey. You can live your life the way you want to live. I mean, what news do you want? Seriously, I'm not saying this is good or whatever. I think it's good. But like, you want the fucking Channel 7 news? Is that what you want? You want Channel 7 news? Or do you want news with Shoy? I mean, what? Read the news like this. Watch the news like that. So this woman at my job, she's like, hey, I canceled the meeting Monday morning for 1 o'clock in the afternoon. She's like, so there were emails going out. Hey, we're going to have this meeting. We're supposed to have this meeting. I was like, yeah, it's on the calendar, of course. But they're like, oh, we're going to have it. We ready? One of the guys on my team, I'm not going to blame him. It's clearly his responsibility. he couldn't, and he's the manager, by the way. He couldn't get the job. He couldn't. He didn't have the material done in time. So I said, no, we're just going to cancel the meeting. Didn't call him by name or anything like that. I'm not like that. That's not my style. So then I tell her, I say, so we send emails out, me and my manager. So then I said, all right, I'm going to cancel the meeting. We weren't ready. So I canceled the 1 o'clock meeting. Canceled it at like 11 a.m. She fucking messages us at 1:11 p.m. She's like, hey. She's that type of person, like, hey guys, are we still having this meeting? I was like, the fuck? I looked at my camera, I'm like, what the fuck? And I tell her, I was like, no, I'm sorry, I canceled. She's like, do you sure a cancellation went out? I was like, yes. Oh, because I didn't see one. I was like, we were talking about it. Who cares? It's canceled. Be happy. She's like, hey, are you sure you canceled? I was like, yeah, shut up. And go on with your fucking day. What are you, stupid? Somebody just canceled a meeting in your life. You're supposed to be happy. You sure you don't want to have this meeting? No, go away. We fucking sent emails on it, and I sent out the cancellation. Sorry you didn't get notified. What are you in a panic for to have this fucking meeting? We weren't going to get anything accomplished anyway, and she knew that. Are you sure? Hey, teacher, you're not going to give us homework tonight? Everybody's like, oh, shit, motherfucker. I used to think when I was younger, I'm pretty sure I used to think this, that if a kid asked for homework, I was like, yo, what's the only reason? I would be like my 8-year-old self. I'm like, yo, what's the only reason why it's justified to beat someone up? I would be like daydreaming to myself, like, what's the reason that, like, because nobody should be violent. Like, you shouldn't be violent. Violence is never the answer, right? You know what I'm saying? By the way, to whoever just joined, like, we literally we're still in the monologue. Okay? Because it's just how it is, and it's a beautiful thing. Right? I used to think, as a child, I used to be like, the only way somebody deserves to get their ass beat, like the only way, because you're not supposed to want anyone to get their ass beat. Nobody would like to see that, you know? Even though we love the Coliseum and we were like, rah, rah. Nobody wants to fucking see that. We don't like letting people get hurt. Nobody likes that. I mean, you watch American Horror Story, I guess that shit churns you on or whatever. That's your thing. That's cool. You like a little spicy? Me too sometimes. I could watch like half of it. Maybe like 20 minutes of American Horror. Maybe like 10 minutes. That's my threshold. Everybody likes a little pain. Mix it up a little. You like pain, you know, but we don't want to see somebody killed or anything, right? And we don't want to see anybody get drastically hurt. Oh man, could you imagine a car accident? But you go, you like the running in the bulls every year. Everybody's always, it's an international event. Running away from the bulls, you don't want to get gored. Fuck. And listen, you really gotta like that shit over there in Spain. Because I'm telling you right now, I saw that shit. Scary. It's downright scary. And it's sad. They killed a bull. We gotta do a whole segment on that. Ay. You see someone get gored, they like that shit. When they're running away from the bulls, guess what? They do it because there's heart. They care that they're not gonna make it. They're gonna live. You get gored by a bull, you're gonna live. Relax. You're gonna live. Most likely. You're just gonna get fucked up. But you're gonna live. You know? We like the pain, but we don't like seeing other people in pain. You feel for them. You feel for humanity. But I used to think as a child, I used to be like, the only way that violence is justified in this world. Remember, I'm 8 years old. I don't know shit about war. I don't know anything about war. The fuck do I know about war? I'm like, the only way, which to me was the most terrible thing that could ever happen, you getting your ass whipped at school. It was like the most terrible thing I could ever think of. It's embarrassing. You get your ass whooped. You get your ass whipped. You get your ass whooped around. You fucking whooping stone over here. You want to get your ass fucking kicked? You want to get your ass kicked? Getting stomped around all school? That was my fucking nightmare. That was my number one concern. It's all about perspective. I wasn't concerned about no damn grocery bills, electric bills. I was like, yo, in my head, I was like, yo. I know fighting people is not good. I used to tell my friends, yo, I know fighting people is not good, but bro, if you ask for extra homework, bro, you deserve to get beat up. My friends they wouldn't even react. I'd be like, nah, bro, for real, like beat up real bad. And they'd be like, word? I guess they'd be like, word, Shoy, you feel that way? And I was like, yeah, man, like, we should kill them. Fuck those people. Fuck them, bro. Motherfuckers. Don't be ruining everybody's life. Nobody wants homework, you piece of shit. That's what I used to fucking think about. Now we talking about the news and shit. That was the biggest. That's all I would think about. Kinda, sorta. Hey. All right, we are starting out with a huge story. It is the story of the night. There is a peace agreement out, 30-day ceasefire between Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine has accepted the terms, got sent to Russia, and now we're waiting for a response. This happened between the U.S. and Ukraine and Saudi Arabia. You got to think. I mean, who knows if the U.S. and maybe I'm sure they are talking to Russia behind the scenes, and they're gonna craft it out the way they do. But if people stop shooting guns, that's a good thing. Anything Ukraine will agree to, anything Russia will agree to. There's no reasons why they should be killing. Actually, if you didn't know, after the Oval Office mix-up between Donald Trump and Zelensky, they cut off aid to Ukraine and they stopped sharing military intelligence. And then there ended up being really big attacks in Ukraine every day. They're still happening, but now they resumed sharing military intelligence with Ukraine, the United States, which is a crazy situation. And honestly, we don't know enough about it, right? We're just reading the story, we're reading the headlines, and everything, the way it's carefully worded, I think has intention. Ukraine has agreed to it, and hopefully Russia will agree to it. That's what Trump told reporters outside the White House. This is also one of the bigger headlines. Former Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte has been arrested. It's an international criminal court warrant over a drug crackdown that resulted in thousands of deaths in the Southeast Asian country, in the Philippines. Wild story. Wild story. And if you don't know who Rodrigo Duterte is, he was some people say dictator. But what he did was he said in order to get drugs out, what he was most famous for is in order to get drugs out of the country. He was president from 2016 to 2022. He says as a result of all the drug warfare, he told his military to kill and police to kill drug dealers. It was a huge campaign. I forgot what he did with marijuana. Not sure if he'd be criminalized there, but he was extremely polarizing. And if you don't believe, I mean, come on, just remember, whatever you're reading about him, it's the same way we read about our political figures, right? It's all tinted with something. So the way you read these words may be spinning him or her in a positive light, in a negative light, and you just got to understand that. Especially, I mean, if we already are seeking clarity with our political figures, imagine the writing of someone else, either abroad or here, about the matter halfway around the world. The way Duterte was always painted was he was a dictator. He was bad. And what he was doing was human rights violations. And now he's been arrested. He's flown to The Hague to face charges of crimes against humanity. I know he killed a lot of people. He was in Manila in the Philippines, and they flew him by plane to the Netherlands. Wow, the global court in The Hague had ordered Duterte's arrest through Interpol after accusing him of crimes against humanity over deadly anti-drug crackdowns he oversaw while in office. Wow. Wow, he got arrested for it? That's crazy. Wow. Estimates of the death toll during his presidential term vary from more than 6,000 to reportedly up to 30,000. Wow. So the ICC arrest warrant said there are reasonable grounds to believe that the attack on victims was both widespread and systematic. The attack took place over a period of several years, and thousands of people appear to have been killed. Wow, this must have been really bad. I mean, it sounds bad to me, but I guess like take it easy for 1 second. It's it doesn't sound unrealistic to me. That in the court of public opinion, people will certainly agree with killing drug lords. Now, the extent of it or how systematic the approach was, what the fuck does that matter? Why does that matter? What's he trying to do exactly? He's trying to eliminate drug lords. If you're on the side of that, you're just agreeing that you're just agreeing for a stiffer penalty. Most people are on the side of drugs are bad, even if they take drugs. Drugs are not good. Drugs are bad. Protect our children, whatever you want to believe in. Most people will say drugs are bad. Now someone comes in and says, yeah, drugs are bad. I know it's importantly bad to you. I'm going to get rid of these drug lords. And damn, I didn't know that there were that many drug lords in the Philippines, but man, every fucking country, if you look hard enough, you're going to find a lot of fucking drug dealers. So man, they made the penalty. Listen, in a lot of places in the world today, in a lot of places in the world today, if the guy catches you, he will cut off your fucking hand. Now I don't know if he's gonna cut off a hand for stealing. I don't know if they're gonna cut off the hand of like, a nice little blonde white girl, you know. I don't even want to Google this because I feel like a creep doing it. Look, nice little blonde white girl. You're not gonna fucking. You're not gonna kill her, right? She fucking steals from you. You're not gonna kill her. You're gonna be like, "Where's your mom? Where's your dad?" Right? Where's mom? Where's dad? Let me take you to their home. But you see one of these guys, even this guy right here, and he's animated. You see a low down, dirty, from the dirt, fucking piece of shit criminal motherfucker. Real scrungy looking guy. Not this guy. You see this bullshit? No, no, no. This guy ain't clean at all. He's a dirty motherfucker from the street. And he just robbed you. That's the guy that gets his hand cut off. That's shit happens like that around the world. You ain't gonna do it to no little blonde white girl. Why? Because you want to go to heaven and you ain't stupid. Because let me tell you something. Even if she stole from you, you did that, God's sending your ass to hell. Why? Because we believe it. Because we believe it. That's why. How could you do that to that little blonde white girl? Are you crazy? You're gonna go to hell, motherfucker. I don't care what you did in your life. You just cut her fucking hand off. Are you crazy? Bro, you're going to hell. There's rules, there's levels to this shit. You do this, God's gonna be like, all right, you killed one of these dirty motherfuckers. You know, like a dirty bum. I don't want to make fun of bums, but you know, like a dirt bag he stole from you. You know, dirty, not even dirty, 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 nasty. You know, he's got to look like he wanted to do it to you, like it wasn't a mistake, like the little blonde white girl. It wasn't a mistake. He wanted to rob you. That's the guy that gets his fucking hand cut off. You're not gonna go to hell. You come over here, you kill her, you going to hell. You come over here, you're the president of the Philippines. You fucking make a campaign promise and you say, yo, I'm gonna kill every motherfucker in here because it's of my best interest. Why? Because every politician is corrupt. Duh. Just got to say that on the side. But he goes and he promises, hey, I'm going to fucking kill all these drug dealers and I'm going to protect the community. And that's what I'm going to run on. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to benefit from it. I'm sure he benefited like crazy from it. Who the fuck knows? It doesn't take much to conjure up someone's scheme. Who the fuck knows what he's doing? Maybe he gave the national police fucking bounties, took a cut of the bounties. I don't fucking know. And was saying, go kill these motherfuckers. Who knows? I just made that up right now. Anything you hear that a politician, or more so, a human being does in this world, you're not fucking shocked. You give me one fucking thing you're shocked by. If a fucking president of the United States or a president of one of these nations in the world hit the nuclear button, would you be surprised? It's 2025. I don't think you would be surprised. You would be surprised to the extent like, holy shit, someone just did it. But you wouldn't be surprised that it happened. We're only hanging on by a thread. Hanging on by a limb. And let me tell you something. If you are hanging on by a thread, or if you are hanging on by a limb, you've fallen and died already. It's impossible. Thread. You know? And why do we need that little bit of thread? Why? Why? Why do we need that thread? A little little itty bitty witty thread. Why? Why do we need these threads in life? That's therapy right there. It's the threads. It's the threads that count, that matter. It's the little threads. It's the only time that you're ever going to get to use the word no frills. It's the threads that count. All right, let's get to this video. One of my friends asked me to share this, so I am, and it's pretty dope. We're gonna listen to a lot of it because that's just how it goes. There's a lot that's good that's said. So one of my friends, I don't think I've expressed to one of my friends. I don't think people understand, and I'm no expert on the matter, but I believe that I've spoken to enough Egyptians that I kind of sense it. Like no Egyptian that I meet here in the United States says that Egypt is good right now, that Egypt is doing well. And of course, you remember the 2014 Arab uprisings, which we don't even know anything about, you know? I was actually there like a year and a half ago. And I got to visit, and I can't even believe there were a million people there. But anyway, this happened. They got so Hosni Mubarak was the president at the time, and they called him a dictator. I think he was in power for like 25 years, something like that. Anyway, they removed him, and in place they put Mohammed Morsi in place. And by the way, they which they called, and he was he came from the Muslim Brotherhood, which is like a political party there, which is more pro Islamic State. Anyway, he ends up being confirmed, and then he ends up being the president um, for a few months, and he does some super corrupt shit. And then when Al Sisi became president, the people, in order to put Al Sisi in place here, he was the general of the army. Part of the deal in the coup was for them to arrest Mohammed Morsi, and he got a 20-year sentence, and he died. He died while he was in jail, like 2 years. Yeah, he died like 2 years later. So he was only in power. He was in power from June of 2012 to July of 2013, and then Al Sisi took over, which was the general. Anyway, what's happening in Egypt right now? Well, I mean, hear it yourself.
I haven't. I lived in Egypt a long time ago in 2008, but I haven't been there since. But I hear from people who go in all the time that there's parts of Cairo which are developed, are very nice. There's new cities springing up all over the place. There's these big mega projects. Yet all the economic indicators show the Egyptian pound is basically worthless. Egypt has spiraling debt, and there is definitely a problem of massive income inequality. Unemployment is rising, and the poor seem to be taking a very big hit. So what is that like? And then the second part, and you don't have to answer it now, you can come back to it. But the second thing I want to understand is just compared to Mubarak at its height in terms of media suppression, in terms of people being arrested, forced disappearances, how different is this to that?
Now, when the counter-revolution started in 2013, Sisi was promising Egyptians a very rosy future, economic prosperity, and was making all of these promises and wild slogans, at the time. But what happened in the ensuing years was catastrophic for most Egyptians. And the economic situation in the country is one of the main reasons, if not the main reason, that the regime started losing legitimacy since the first devaluation of the Egyptian pound around the year 2016. Poverty statistics in Egypt, which used to be published annually, the government stopped publishing them in 2020. I mean, if this isn't an enough.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, what does that even mean to you? That they stop publishing the numbers? If you've read the book 1984, you know that they're going to manipulate the narrative. And they're not even going to manipulate the narrative. They're going to create the narrative from scratch, from zero. That is what the government is going to do. I'm not disparaging them in any way. They do it cleverly, they do it in plain sight, they do it to their advantage. That's the way the pecking order works. I'm not saying even anything novel either. So what do they start doing? They start withholding information. Oh, by the way, oh, by the way, let me tell you something. And this comes from someone that invests in the stock market and loves reading financial statements. I love it. You want to see what you're getting into when you invest in stocks. Let me tell you something. You think the government is telling us the truth on anything that they say? Yo, this last month we created 200,000 jobs. You believe that? Okay, even if you believe it or you don't believe it, let me tell you this anyway. 1 year from now, they're going to correct those numbers and they're going to give you a new number and they're going to say these were called adjustments. So what was the number last year? It was 1.2 million jobs. Okay, cool, great. And what is it now? Oh, it's 800,000 jobs. All right, fine, okay. Stock market goes down or up, who knows? So the government is going to create their narrative. Now, before we even go even further, because it's such a rich discussion, I want to tell you what my perspective was landing there in October of 2023. It is so fucking poor, man. That shit is whack. And me being Egyptian from Queens, like, it means something. It means something very specific to me. Very nuanced. And what I saw over there, I already have a feeling that the problems were really bad. I'm a runner. I love running. I was just literally running and walking everywhere as much as I could. I was on foot the whole time. What I saw was fucking poverty, man. Straight bullshit ass fucking poverty. I would love to say that it wasn't like that bad. And I've been to places. I love everywhere I ever went. And I loved Cairo. Cairo was amazing. I loved Cairo. But I'm telling you right now, that shit was sad. And I never felt that way because even though I think we're all one human species, like, me being Egyptian means something. And I'm like, man, these guys are fucking poor as shit, man. And then when you go and you see Al-Sisi, you see the fucking president. And listen, this is just a stupid anecdote. It's not the fucking truth. Right? But when you see shit like this posted on walls in Egypt, like, what the fuck, bro? Glorifying your ass? What the fuck? Like, listen, I'm not even saying you can't be a nationalist or pro-president, but I saw some obnoxious shit. Like, it's just out of control. I don't need to see my stupid ass president's face everywhere. Maybe we have that here. We certainly have that here, right? We do, through media. I'm sure they get it through media as well. But I don't need him, like, I don't need my president's face posted everywhere. Like, what the fuck? I don't need that shit. I don't need that shit, and I certainly don't want it. Maybe I wouldn't care. Who knows? If you give me a bag of chips too, you keep me busy, I won't even care about it. But for now, I don't think I want to see my president up on a fucking poster everywhere. Like, what the fuck is going on here? It feels like a dictatorship. I don't want it to feel like one. I don't think Egypt is good for like a not good, but I don't think Egypt is. It's always a confluence of factors, right? I just at a business level, health wise, hygiene wise, everything. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I'm Egyptian. You guys are fucking poor as shit, man. Called my mom. I called my mom while I was in Egypt, in Cairo. I was like, yo, ma, this is fucking crazy. She's like, yeah, you know. I was like, nah. There's burning garbage everywhere. This shit is crazy. I can't even fucking walk nowhere because it's fucking burning garbage everywhere because there's just fucking huge patches of lands of garbage and shit. What the fuck is going on over here? It's a fucking desert country. I'm like, what the fuck is going on over here? So then I started telling my mom, I was like, yo, I think I want to do something about this. She's like, what you gonna do? I was like, I think I want to, you know, maybe like, I don't know, get organized out here and fucking maybe like do like a garbage removal service. I was talking to mad people about the garbage. I was like, yo, you guys like this shit? They're like, of course we don't like this shit. But they're talking to me like, what you gonna do about it? What the fuck you gonna do? I was like, is this because of the president? What the fuck is this? What is it? What's this all for? Everybody's response. What you gonna do? Egypt is in fucking crisis from what I saw. And everyone I speak to, all the Egyptians that I meet over here, I make it like I make it almost a mission to ask them, like, hey, what do you think? Do you like what do you think about the Egyptian government? Everybody has a story. It's fucking terrible over there. And it's fucking sad. And they can make a ton of fucking money because everybody wants to go to Egypt. Instead, it's like I like I like the raucousness. I enjoy I like it dirty, grungy. I'm from New York. Like I like that shit. You know, yeah, a little chilly. Yeah, hey man, watch out, you know? I like it. The grungy. I like it. It's like that in Egypt. Not really. Not really. You're safe. Nobody fucks with anybody. And Egyptians are very sweet people. But I could see how people I loved it. Man, I was eating fucking fried eggplant from the street in some fucking like probably 20-day oil and shit. I was having a lot of fun over there. I loved it. I love places like that. I felt bad for the people. So then I'm walking around the fucking city and I'm like, yo, what the fuck, man? I'm like, yo, why the fuck is it so fucking poor over here? I'm talking about dead center in the city. These guys are fucking poor, man. Hustling. And I'm like, I thought Al-Sisi was supposed to make this shit better. And it validated things for me. Because I'm like, damn, man, nobody's lying. That motherfucker is a dictator. He made some crazy ass moves. There was a story right when he took over. I think yeah, a lot of Egyptians didn't agree with this. He was ceding there were two uninhabited Red Sea islands, and he ceded them to Saudi Arabia. And there were a lot of protests from, I mean, who knows? But there were protests from the Egyptians on this. And I remember one of my friends that I was talking to at the time, he's like, dude, this is fucking crazy. And yeah, that was like in 2017. Why the fuck would you give up two islands in the Red Sea that are close to you, to the Saudis? I mean, even you don't have to be Egyptian. You don't have to be Egyptian to fucking understand how stupid this is. Why the fuck would you do that? Like the US is just going to give up the Bahamas. What the fuck? I'm not trying to get you to agree with me. All I'm saying is I haven't heard a fucking positive thing about this guy. And my mom was actually rooting for him when he got in. Was she? Not really. No, not really. Not like a fucking cheerleader. Nobody does that anyway. She was like, no, you know, maybe it's good. Like, we need stability, right? But I'll tell you what Christian people really worry about is persecution there. There's a lot of persecution there. So, like, as Christians, because they're the minority. And that's what they're concerned about. Mainly Christians, or the Christians that I know, they want like stability. They want them to coexist with the Islamic population. So that's what's important to them. But it is also 90% Muslim. So it's like, what do you think? They're happy and the other religious people are not? Hell no. Everybody's fucking. To me, everybody isn't happy with this guy. He's a dictator. He's whatever the fuck you want to call him. There's too many fucking terms to describe these guys. He's a bad guy. It looks like. I don't even hate the guy. I don't even know the guy. But from what I see, I'm like, what the fuck is going on in Egypt, man? And to see his face plastered everywhere, it's like, who the fuck you gonna blame?
Enough anecdotes to explain how bad the situation is. I mean, there's nothing really more that I can say. They stopped publishing the poverty stats in the country. The Egyptian, the US dollar appreciated versus the Egyptian pound by more than 400% since the first devaluation in 2016. The external debt of the country went up from 40 billion roughly when Sisi took office to over 150 billion as we stand today. Anyone who is able to leave the country at this point is leaving. Are there people who are having it good in the country at this point? I would say, of course, there is. I mean, we are 100 million people. Those who are benefiting from the current policies are definitely the senior brass in the military, the senior security officials in the police, the senior officials in the intelligence apparatus, section of the judiciary, of the prosecutors, of top diplomats, and some businessmen who partner with the military in their projects. But the overwhelming majority of Egyptians at this point, they are languishing. One anecdote I can give you, Ashraf, is that spend some time on Facebook searching for those groups that sell used stuff in Egypt. You will find like increasing numbers of upper middle class Egyptians who are selling their furniture, who are selling their tablecloth, they are selling, their jewelry. Everyone is trying to raise cash at this point. Our health sector has collapsed more or less, and Egyptian doctors are fleeing out of the country. Education in Egypt, I mean, at this point, they are spending roughly from 1.5 to only 1.7% of the government expenditure. It's nothing. Now, where is all of this money that Sisi is getting from abroad, going? They are being spent on white elephant projects, like the one that he's building in the new administrative capital, that has like the tallest tower in Africa, the biggest, bridge and this and that. They are obsessed about getting into Guinness records at any expense. Egypt is among the world's top arms importers at this point also. And Sisi is using the arms purchases as a way of diplomacy, whereby I buy arms from you and you hush up about my human rights situation. He did this with France, with Germany, and with many other countries. So definitely, at this point, we are in a severe economic situation, and I don't think that there is any escape out of it, except him receiving one bailout after the other, because at least for now, Egypt is too big to fail for the regional and the international powers. Regarding repression,
You know when it's time to go to the doctor. You know when it's
what you said is true. Definitely under Hosni Mubarak. I mean, Mubarak was not some human rights.
I mean, look, man, you gotta be honest. It's like, you gotta share it for historical purposes. And yeah, there's a reason that this interview exists, right? It's good. And I don't even mean to take a dig at him or anything. And it's really not a dig at him per se. It really isn't. To me, it's, and I don't use the word obvious because nothing is obvious, but to me, it's glaringly obvious that this happens with every government around the world. I'm not saying don't talk about it. I'm curious and compelled to hear something. I mean, that he may be the only one that cares. I doubt it. I doubt it. But even in the United States and how polarizing we are as a people, what are we going to kill each other? What the fuck are we going to do about it? You cast a vote every 4 years and you go home and you do your shit. You do the same shit you were doing before. This guy's president, insert name here. How many times do you hear about some corporate promotion at your job? Hey, Bill Smith is the new operations manager. Go to Bill Smith when you have any operational management questions. Trash. Trash icon. Why? You can't do shit about it. I feel bad. I feel bad for the Egyptian people. But it's like, yo, this shit is happening everywhere. One of my friends, he was Egyptian. He said the difference between, he said corruption is everywhere in the world. It's everywhere. The difference between Egypt and the United States, and I'm going to give you the exact example he gave me. He said, in Egypt, you need $100 billion or $10 billion worth of lumber. In the US, you need $10 billion worth of lumber, worth of wood. In Egypt, you'll build the building with $10 billion allocated to you, except you'll use $8 billion to build it. And $2 billion will go away as a bribe. So they literally build unstable foundations because they're going to build that shit with $8 billion worth of lumber. And in the US, if there's a project worth 10 billion, maybe you get that extra 2 billion on the side through other means. And of course, he's being figurative. But it speaks a lot to the it's like to the I was gonna say cavalier, and the cavalier is not the right word. It's to the it's certainly wild. It's a wild disruption. It's a wild but that's how governments are. And they don't care. So why the fuck are you gonna care? These people, in my opinion, in order to be a politician, you need to be indiscriminate. I don't like shitting on politicians, but hey, the way I give them praise, and I think that we shouldn't necessarily criticize them, even though that's exactly what I'm doing right now, sometimes they gotta get a little piece of action. I don't believe none of these guys. This doesn't mean that I feel strongly about it, that I don't trust my government. Who the fuck trusts their government? There's a reason why. We all feel to some extent we're being tricked. I don't trust my government. I like my government. I try to like it. What, am I going to hate people all my life? I ain't got time for that. I like my government doesn't mean that I trust them. I like you doesn't mean that I want to fuck you. Who are you saying that to anyway? You know, it sounds like a great quote. I like you, but that doesn't mean I want to fuck you. When are you going to ever hear that? When are you going to hear that? Is that a male telling that to a female? Highly doubtful. Is that a female telling that to a male? Probably never. And you're never gonna, who's ever gonna say that? When would you ever cue that up? It's like, I like you doesn't mean I want to fuck you. When the fuck you ever gonna hear that? When? For what? What scenario? Give me the moment in your life when you're gonna hear that. You be like, what? Holy shit. I'll be like, what? Whatever I'm doing, I'll be like, what? Who said that? That's crazy. I like you doesn't mean I want to fuck you. And that's like disparaging. That's like demeaning. I like you doesn't mean I want to fuck you. Doesn't mean I want to have sex with you. That's berating. You know, I can only take so much. Someone insults me like that in public, I will fold. My little love handles will fold in. I'll be like, ah. Why would you ever talk to me like that? I like you, I like you. I like you doesn't mean I want to fuck you. I'll be like, whoa. Whoa, calm down. Fuck. It's fucking Tuesday. I'm trying to chill. I'm trying to do news with Shoy. I like you. What? Some people just want to do it like that. Some people want to fight like that all the time. So you calm down. I ain't got time for that shit. You think people got time for that shit? That's why nobody hangs out with you. You always going full. Calm the fuck down. Insulting me, berating me. I hate myself enough. You think I need someone following me around? You piece of shit. You suck, you piece of shit. You stupid, dumbass. Of course I do. I need someone following me around. Preferably a woman, sassy, sexy. Hopefully she's following me around. One of these, you know? Hopefully she's following me around, spanking me on my butt. Hey, don't eat that. Why, honey? Because that's cake. And you don't eat that shit. If you want to be with me, look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at my sexy body. Look at me. Look at me. Look at my sexy body. You want to be with me? You better put that cake down, stupid, you little piece of shit, Shoy boy, Shoy show, news with Shoy, whatever you want to call it, dumbass. You want to be with me? You want to touch this? You're not going to eat that. You're going to sleep on time. You're going to do everything right, stupid. That's what I need in my life. Someone that's gonna beat my ass. I'm not gonna cry about it. Go to the police. This is what I wished for.
Rights activist, although he would appear as one compared to Abdel Fattah Sisi. I was detained and tortured under Hosni Mubarak for organizing protests at the time.
Yeah, that's because protests are dead. You can't protest anywhere in the world anymore. Listen, man. At some point, people like him are martyrs. At some point, they're doing the work. They're the ones that are speaking up and putting their lives on the line. But most people are not going to do that because all protests are now thwarted. So whatever voice of the people that was had, it's gone, long gone. They'll deploy the police and there's nothing that they will stop. They are going to suppress protests. So you can't even protest anymore. On top of that, you're going to fucking go to jail. Your fucking family's going to go to jail. They're going to be harassed. And not everyone's going to believe in that shit. So yeah, I look at these people as being somewhat stars and martyrs, but is that shit worth it? Fuck that shit. First of all, you almost got no luck. It's either the people all get together or they don't. I'm not saying that his work is not valuable, but that's just crazy to me. Like, why would you sacrifice your life over some fucking political? I don't even know what to even call it. You know, all of them are going to be corrupt. So it's like, I don't want to insult the guy. I know I said this a long time ago, but I don't want to insult the guy. But it's foolish. It's foolish. Is it not? Listen, you can certainly debate, and there is enough fodder there. More than enough to say he's doing right. He's a hero. He's been arrested. He's gone through the system. He's gone through the ringer with al-Sisi, with the president. And I've heard several Egyptians, same shit. Terrible stories. Terrible. Straight theft and harassment. That's all I've heard from the Egyptian government. And again, I don't even want to talk about Egypt like that because you never know what the fucking truth is or whatever, but this is what I've gauged. But what the fuck you gonna do about it? I told my mom, I never told you the last part of the story. So I told my mom, I want to clean up Egypt. I was like, I want to start something out here. She started laughing at me. And I'm like yelling at her while I'm walking through all this burning garbage in Cairo. And I'm like, Mom, I was like, I'm telling you the truth. Like, I want to do something. There's nothing I'm doing in my life. was like, yeah, I'm working and everything. I was like, but this is important to me. I want to do something. He fucking like puts me on speakerphones, calling my dad. My dad's like sitting right next to her. She's like, Eddie. She's like, look, listen, you have to hear what Bisho's saying. What he's saying he wants to save Egypt. I'm like, yo, what the fuck, bro? I'm being serious. I want to fucking make a difference. There's all this fucking garbage. Everybody's smelling burning plastic and shit. I know that it looks like Egypt is bad. The fuck you gonna do about it? You over here in the United States, what the fuck do you say? It's the equivalent. We say, yeah, our government is corrupt. Our government doesn't know. They don't know what they're doing. What the fuck am I gonna do about it? They're stealing our money with the taxes. What the fuck am I gonna do about it? You think I even got time to think about that shit? Every time I hear that story, I'm like, I shrug. What you gonna fucking do? What you gonna do when prices go up? How much can we really sustain? Then you think about a revolution. Everybody has a breaking point.
There is nothing contradictory with that. You see, we should be pragmatic. Working on the European pillar, having a European defense organization on the basis of governments, and we should use all these different formats to invent something new. We are in a moment where we need to take responsibility, but we should take responsibility with the support of our countries. And that's where we have also a difficult challenge, because this is not only a matter of government. The challenge in front of us, and that's key for me, is not only the challenge of the security of Ukraine. This is a key question. The challenge is also the stability of Europe.
Absolutely.
And we see that there are ideological forces, even within Europe, that are supporting the US administration, and the US administration is playing with these populist forces to destabilize our regimes.
Well, I talked earlier about words and actions not necessarily being, on the same page. I'm wondering whether the words you are delivering to me are going to be followed by actions. But before we end,
but this is the responsibility of the people in charge in every single nation of Europe. This is a battle that needs to be fought. I'm just saying. It will be easy if it's just a matter of military leadership. It is much more than that. We need to mobilize our nation on the fact that we are facing a global threat. I want to remind you. First, who are we facing? We are facing Russia, who has not been able in 3 years to win more than a couple of kilometers in Ukraine. The US has not been able to defeat Afghanistan, neither to defeat Iraq. So power is not everything. Will is everything. This is the key. The will of the leaders and the will of the people. So this is what we should mobilize. But to do that, we should speak very frankly with our people.
You have been outspoken here in France, not just on the issue of Ukraine and what the French and other European governments need to do. You've also been very outspoken on the issue of Israel and what Israel has done in Gaza since Hamas's attacks in October of 2023 on Israelis. Now, you say that France's internal silencing of criticism of Israel represents a, quote, historical scandal, a silence. It is, you said, a taboo. Why do you think that is?
Well, why? You could ask the same question to many European countries, in Germany and in the UK and in many, many countries. Why? Because they are just considering the situation, forgetting the fact that what is at stake in the Middle East and in the Gaza question there are two things which are key. First is the matter of justice. You see, we began to have a huge problem in Ukraine when people understood that we were applying double standard. What's going on in Ukraine, seeing with one eye, what's going on in Gaza, seeing with another eye. So we lose the respect in many emerging countries. Second, not only a policy not complying with justice, but not complying with international law. You see, when you look at the policy of Putin, aggression on Ukraine, when you look at the position of the US administration.
So I'm loving this because I think for a long time, this has been, I think for a long time coming, there was always like chatter that Europe had to step up or they were going to take a step back. They were going to continue to regress on the global stage. And it seems like now they've like grown a spine. They all are still, different countries, which is going to always make things challenging. But I feel like the EU is stepping up to say, we've got to probably beef up our military and probably take more precaution in the world. I guess because there's some aggressive people out there. I like to see it personally. I like that Europe is stepping up. I usually like more defense spending, and that's just because I don't know where all the money is going or anything like that. Trust me, the money's going to a lot of useless places. I'll tell you right now. And you know that anyway. But I don't know. I think about safety for what I know about defense. I think about safety. I want people to feel safe. I want people to just feel okay where they live, wherever they live in the world. So when I think about more defense, and it does make a difference if you have more police, it does make a difference. Me, I'm okay with whatever, but overall, systematically, it does make a difference, a big difference. So I'm all for defense spending. If the EU wants to get together and they want to raise their defense spending, become more and take more of a defensive position in the world, by all means, it makes sense. The US will do the same thing. It makes no difference. All right, if you haven't heard, the House Republicans unveiled a bill to avoid the shutdown, and they're daring Democrats to oppose it. What a title. Anyway, I believe they passed the spending bill. I read something earlier. They unveiled the spending bill on Saturday. I believe the latest news as of like maybe 2 hours ago was that they passed the spending bill. Might be wrong. Which is great news, but what the fuck, man? The debt ceiling is as apparent to you as anything else. What the fuck does the deficit mean to you? And that doesn't mean that you're illiterate. Like, that doesn't mean that you don't understand finance or financials. Of course you do. Don't think that you're stupid. What is this about? Periodically, virtually every quarter at this point, every 12 weeks, they are expanding the deficit. What does that mean to you? It doesn't mean shit to you. Whatever the government does, this is a fact. It's not the rationale completely, but this is a fact. Whatever the government does is going to make you bleed slowly, just enough that it hurts, but just enough that you don't fucking revolt. And they take away from you slowly, killing me softly, baby. They expand the budget little by little, right? Which weakens the economy for a whole host of reasons. You think they give a shit? Of course they don't. Just like Al-Sisi in Egypt expanded the budget from 50 billion to 150 billion, the deficit. Who the fuck cares? It's just stupid fucking money. Who gives a shit? You think these people give a shit? They're making their decisions in a vacuum. They don't really give a shit. They've got to manage their image, and they've got to manage just enough chaos. What are the Americans going to do? I think Americans are tough people. You think we're actually going to revolt? How bad would things have to get if we were going to revolt? The national deficit means nothing to me. And they know that. So it's undeniable to think that they make these decisions and say, yeah, we're okay with that. We don't really care. It's certainly plausible. Keep expanding the deficit. Yeah. So Russia has been bombing Ukraine every single day. And in the last 24 hours, they killed more than 20. Hopefully the ceasefire deal is in place. And hopefully 30-day ceasefire, no more attacking. I think the U.S. is going to quickly find, well, they already started sharing military intelligence again with them after they cut it off last week. But I think the U.S. is going to start defending Ukraine more. Just because they're going to get a deal in place, hopefully. It seems imminent. So the U.S. is going to, because the U.S. sees, if you pull back on any country like that, there's going to be a lot more damage. It looks like, at least. On to X. Yeah, if you didn't hear about this.
I'm going to stop them. We catch anybody doing it because they're harming a great American company. You know, I've stuck up for the NFL. I've stuck up for a lot of American companies and other companies, but American companies. I did a very big favor for the NFL. I do favors for all.
So Trump said that. I love how he starts out what he says. Because he's like, yo, you know, he's like black people. He's like, I have a lot of black friends. He's like, look, he's like Tesla. He's like, I'm gonna do this for Tesla. He's like, I do a lot of things for a lot of people. You know, I do a lot of things for a lot of. He's like trying to defend yourself. He's like, I help everybody. He's like, and I'm gonna help Tesla. He said, I will label attacks on Tesla. I will label attacks on Tesla dealerships as domestic terrorism. Damn. That's probably to go deploy both the FBI and the CIA to them. How much is that costing us? Who cares? What do you care? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Cry? Who the fuck cares? Oh shit! That's how it's going
The
down.
wonderful.
I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr.
I'm
Chairman,
sorry.
could you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, we have set the standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply.
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman?
the
Would you
standard-
repeat what you just said when you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America, please?
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order. Mr. Chairman, have you no decency? I mean, I've come to know you a little bit, but this is not decent.
We will continue this.
You
hearing.
will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned.
I would have did the same shit. The only difference, I would have gotten up. Representative Sarah McBride, the first transgender person elected to Congress, continues to face attacks from her Republican colleagues who have repeatedly misgendered her on the House floor and in committee hearings. That's fucked up, yo. I don't even know who the fuck she is. But see, that's the type of shit. Listen, man, let me tell you something. All right. Number one, right? For everybody that's been watching the stock market go down, when the stock market went down, I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I was like, yo, bring back trans shit. If the market's going to be like this, bring back the trans, bring back the immigrants, bro. Bring back everything. Okay? I ain't got time for this shit. Okay? I got money to make so I could get out of the rat race. If you like and subscribe to my shit, if you hit the fucking like button for this stupid ass algorithm, okay, maybe we could speed this process up. And then I talk about shit like this. I'm not going to disrespect somebody like this. That's crazy. This is what's fucking wrong. This is what's fucking wrong with the world. So what is his opposing her doing anybody? If somebody wants to be called something, yo, just fucking call them it. That's it. That's like saying, yo, call me, hey, my name's Chester, but call me Chad. I'm gonna be like, all right, Chad. The fuck? There's no difference. That shit is going out of your way to hurt somebody. And on top of that, you know what? I'm gonna name the shit. I'm gonna name the shit right now that's just so blatant. And she looks like a woman. Like, cut it out. Like, why? Why are you doing that? For what? Now, listen, I'm going to take his side of the fence as we all should. I'm going to try to understand what this guy was doing by insulting her. He was undermining her and he was saying, get out of Congress. We're not going to go by that. We're not going to go by that, by pronouns anymore. We're going to call you what you are. And that's what I believe in. And I don't even want to spread that to anyone else. And I'm going to insult you, hurt your feelings and all of that. That's legitimate. I know it sounds a little daunting and scary and mean, but that's legitimate. There's nothing illegitimate about that, by the way. But I'm going to tell you right now, if we're observing this fucking situation live, I would never let somebody be bullied like that. And he's going out of his way to hurt somebody. It's not fair for him to torment her. And he's the fucking chair. He's also not setting a good example. I really don't know how to interpret this. Because then essentially what you're doing is you're essentially saying that transgender people should not get to run for Congress. That's what you're saying. Or anyone transgender for that matter that comes before Congress will not be referred to as the opposite sex. It sucks, man. It sucks. No matter which side of the fence that you're on, it fucking sucks. Who the fuck wants to be treated differently or nasty? Who? It's very hard for me to take the other side of this argument and say that we should outcast transgender people. It's very, very difficult for me. And I don't think anybody would do that anyway, because most of us are born with good hearts. There's a few black ones out there, but most of us are born with good hearts. I believe that. I believe 99.99999% of humanity is good, and we try. And I think most people would. Why the fuck would you do something like that to someone like that? Why? Why? Why would you be mean in your life? Why? I don't think anybody would honestly say because they want to hurt somebody, unless they were angry at the time, something like that. We don't want to hurt each other. But you see this type of nasty behavior, and what is he accomplishing? What's he accomplishing? I'm sure he got some brownie points maybe from the Trump administration and other Republicans, right? I'm sure they did. I mean, he had Republican colleagues in the room. And this made, I'm sure, maybe international headlines, maybe. National headlines. Or maybe not at all. It's still fucked up. I couldn't treat somebody like that for something so, I believe, insignificant. In the grand scheme of things in life, it's insignificant. If you want to say that there's no written laws about them, like no other bathrooms, whatever, I don't know, other dumb shit, okay. But to berate somebody like that just because they want to be called she, it's just not. That's what you're wasting your time on. It's not that it's not a good look. It's just like, what are you doing, bro? All things considered, what are you doing? Man, this whole fucking egg phenomenon, I don't know. I've seen it and not seen it. I've seen it at some places. These egg prices, I've seen it at some places where it hasn't gone up at all. It's gone up $1. Some places had 500, 600, 800% markups. Eggs were like $20, $30, $40 for a dozen or 18. But I haven't. Just don't eat that. Oh, don't eat eggs. I know eggs is in a lot of things. Like we need pastries, we need cakes. No, you don't. Don't eat that. Eat it, eat it, eat it. You want to eat it? You want a big fat cake? Is it big fat cake time? Look, you might not think you wanted a cake until you see one of these cakes. And if you want to have a big fat cake on a Tuesday, you want to be like this guy?
I've got a whole chocolate sized cake. For dinner, I've got a chocolate cake. For dinner, I've got a chocolate cake. For dinner, who wants a ham sandwich? Not me. It's going in the bin. Where it deserves to be, it's going in the bin. Not in me, it's going in the bin. Not in me. I love my cake. My dad said, can I have a slice? My mom and dad said, can I have a slice? My mom and dad said, can I have a slice? I said no, because I'm a fatty. It's going in my stomach. Woohoo! We're halfway there. Whoa! Living on a prayer. The chocolate cake makes me feel better. Whoa! Living on a prayer. Living on a prayer. Whew.
I had to stop.
I have a quick question.
I had to stop listening to him. Okay. I had to stop listening to him. All right. Just so because I started seeing myself, and I couldn't do that anymore. Okay? That was very hard to look at.
And Secretary Lutnick has sent out an olive branch to us to come down and immediately meet with him, meet with the whole trade administration, and discuss the future. Rather than waiting till April the 2nd, threats going back and forth, tit for tat, I've agreed to suspend temporarily, and we always have that tool in our toolkit, until we sit down over the next day or two. I'll be heading down to Washington along with Dominic LeBlanc, and we'll have a good discussion. You know, with any negotiation that we have, there's a point that both parties.
So this is Canada saying that they're going to put tariffs. This is in the last 24 hours. They want to put tariffs on U.S. electricity. And then
these are heated and the temperature needs to come down. And I thought this was the right decision. They understand how serious we are about the electricity and the tariffs. And rather than going back and forth and having threats to each other, we have both agreed that cooler heads prevail. We need to sit down and move this forward. This is a massive, massive deal, the USMCA, which the federal government will be leading the charge. I'll be sitting down with all our premiers tomorrow as well and discussing this and their issues as well. So we're going to go down there and we're going to go down there with confidence. We're going to go down there with strength. And again, hopefully we can move this forward. I feel as a province, and I only speak for the province of Ontario, I want to reaffirm I do not speak for any other premiers. Everyone's very patriotic and we have the best premiers I've ever seen. But we're going to be talking about the USMCA moving forward. The worst thing that could happen is wait and let this drag out until April the 2nd. So we're going to move forward and have a very good conversation with Secretary Lutnick and the whole trade team, as he said, and hopefully we can move this forward because it doesn't benefit anyone.
So here's the thing, right? They threatened 25% tariffs on the United States. A 25% tariff on electricity. And they backed down hours later because the Trump administration threatened to raise steel and aluminum tariffs by 50%. So this is just the latest barber back and forth that you've seen so far. Because something's literally coming out every single day, right? Pretty much like he'll put it out on Truth Social or out to the media that they're just going to put, he just says it very calmly. They're going to put 50% tariffs, right? And then, of course, you also have your delegates go out and tell them. But that's how quick Trump makes it one of these decisions or communicates it, right? Like how clear he communicates it in that sense. And then, so this is them putting understand the sequence of events here. This is them putting a 25% tariff on the United States. The United States responds within the same day, which was yesterday, launching tariffs on steel and aluminum by 50%. And that was the Canadian Prime Minister? Was that Mark Carney? The Ontario Premier. Sorry, that wasn't Mark Carney. So that's the Ontario Premier, and he's saying, "Hey, we're gonna go have a talk. We're gonna go have a negotiation with the U.S." So then you have Caroline Leavitt, which I love, beautiful, smart, talented, sharp, witty, sexy, bona fide hustler in the White House. What? You know damn well Trump wants to get his paws on her, but he's too old. He's not going to do it. And you know what? I'm sure he really wants to help her because no matter what you say, whether it was merit-based or not, and you know what? Clearly, in my opinion, it is merit-based in her regard. Doesn't matter. Doesn't change a damn thing. Every guy wants to fucking have his chance with her. Why? Because she's hot. You don't think Trump wants to Trump has some fantasies about her? What are we, animals? Of course we are. What, do you want me to not act like an animal even though I am an animal? Every man in your life that you meet, you if you show them Caroline Levitt for 5 seconds, he's gonna be like, "Yo, who's that?" Anyone around the world, you show her 5 seconds, "Yo, who's that?" He's gonna be like, if he doesn't even say it, he's not everyone's the same. All men are different, right? You don't know what any man is gonna say at any one time, but I guarantee you, the moment they see her, 5 seconds, immediately, fuck, I wish I could fuck her. I'll fuck that. Who's that? Me, when I was younger, I was a stallion, kind of. That would have gave me a boner watching her for 5 seconds. Now I'm boneless, just how I like my wings. Why? Because they're cheaper. You think I buy boneless wings because I'm lazy? Of course I am. I'm lazy. They're cheaper. They're easier to eat. If Caroline Levitt wants to be all sexy up there like a little chicken wing, sure, I'll eat her. Every other guy wants to do her. What, are we wrong? Now we're all wrong? You have to calm down. You have to calm down. That's what the goodies in the world will say. Calm down. You want to have sex with every woman? You want to have sex with every woman you see? Of course I do. I'm a fucking animal. Doesn't mean I'm going to jump on everybody. You don't want to have sex with every woman you see, but you want to like fuck. Like you want to let out your alpha a little. The fuck? And I don't care if you're a man that's getting 1,000 women. You're still always going to want more. Doesn't mean you go and you act on that impulse. Some men do, and they go to jail. Just because I like what I see doesn't make me a homicidal maniac. She's hot, spicy, sexy, yummy. Now you might think, but Shoy, you want to have your talk show and you're going to be interviewing big names. Bro, what you're saying, it's not a good look, man. But I give people the truth. The truth is, she's irresistible to me. Does that make me any less of a man? Does it make me more of a man? Does it make me a man at all? I'm not going to feel wrong about liking Caroline Levitt purely on an aesthetic basis because I'm hurting your feelings. She's hot. So what? Deal with it. You don't like when people say that? Oh, you're hot. You don't like that? You know why? Because maybe you need to say that a little bit more in your life. What, are you always respectful to everybody? I am. Doesn't mean I don't want to have sex with you. It's just a thought. I'm not going to act on it. I'm not some homicidal maniac. She's hot. So then, this is the fucking response by Caroline Levitt. And again, I love this woman, and I don't even know her. I like the image of her. Come on now, this was warranted?
Conversations between the administration and the Canadians going on over this tariff because the Ontario Premier says the next step is to cut off electricity. to the U.S.
And the president put out a statement after seeing those comments and said that it would be there would be grave consequences imposed on Canada if they think about shutting off electricity for the United States of America and our citizens. And the president is also determined to ensure that we are depending on American electricity, not the electricity production of foreign nations, including our allies in Canada. As for
conversations between the
First of all, you see that? That's the fucking stock market tanking my life away. I don't care how hot Caroline Levitt is with her beautiful dress, blouse, shirt with fucking Tiffany diamonds and a nice terry cloth, cotton yarn, fucking probably $3,000 dress, looking all sexy, probably wearing no bra because she doesn't give a fuck. Probably got black panties on because she's going to do her some in the fucking closet of the White House. She's going to throw off those black stilettos and she's going to track you down like a lioness. Yeah, motherfucker. You want a little Nala in your life? Little Princess Nala? You want a little lioness action in your life? How do you like it? You like her like this? You like her like this right here? You like her more cartoonish? You like her like that? What you like? You like her like that? What you like? You like her like this? With the purple in the background? Oh, ooh, oh, shit. Oh, you like her like that? How you like her? You like her like that? Oh, shit. See? When I tell you, do you want a lioness? She's gonna rip you apart. Who we talking about? We talking about Caroline Levitt. Oh yeah. When I tell you, oh fuck, you want her to rip you up in the closet of the White House? Which closet? Pick a closet. Fucking runs you in there. She breaks the door open. Fucking close the door real quick. Caroline Levitt's fucking attacking you. You guys hear something in the closet, you're like, oh shit. You grab your stuff, you run out. You happen to run in on a bedroom. She fucking locks the door because she knew it was there because this is Caroline Levitt. And she knows everything. You have your back against the bed. She pushes you. Jumps on you, crawls on you slowly. Super hot Caroline Levitt. And then you see her over here as Nala. And she comes and she attacks you from behind. And you're like, ah, spicy Caroline Levitt. Yeah, Young Jersey. Oh, yeah, word. Shit, bro. Oh, shit. All right, let me do that. All right, bye. Oh, man. There's a lot of comments, and I'm not paying no attention. Let me check this. Yeah, let's jump into this right now.
Keep
So this is a street rave in Russia. And one person showed up. Is that what's happening over here?
I told you straight to your face.
Look, first of all, she has a nice ass. She has a great ass, okay? Second of all, I would be doing that as well. So if the music was playing over there, I don't give a damn if there were people there or not. If I gotta dance, I gotta dance. Sometimes, you know, you just gotta dance. You just gotta shake it out. I don't think you could, like, you know, if I gotta dance, I gotta dance. So, I mean, the way she's dancing, to me, I'm like, live your life. I mean, and she's sexy. Do we have to go through this again? I'm not some dog. I'm just kidding. I love it so much. Hey. I told you guys, no fucking commercials. Unless you're paying me. You paying me something? Are you paying me? If you're not paying me, no commercials.
The idea that little Denmark, which can't even defend its own territory, the small country of Denmark, can defend Greenland is preposterous. So they can't afford to defend it, and they can't afford to develop it. There's no development. And so I think what President Trump is suggesting is a very common sense. He's the third US president to make this proposal. It's a common sense solution to a thorny problem of what do you do with a giant territory that is not defendable and not developable by this small country, Denmark, and it's part of North America. The idea that little Denmark, which can't even defend its own territory, the small country of Denmark, can defend Greenland is preposterous. So they can't afford to defend it, and they can't afford to develop it. There's no development. And so I think what President Trump is suggesting is a very common sense. He's the third US president to make this proposal. It's a common sense solution to a thorny problem of what do you do with a giant territory that is not defendable and not developable by this small country, Denmark, and it's part of North America.
Yeah, whatever. You're about to pick some freaking war. Listen, I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to be very frank, okay? This is not going to start World War III, the United States taking Greenland over. But I do believe that if the people were to stand up in any scenario in today's age, like day and age, like I would say like 2025, I think the US would put a stop to it. Like US citizens, I don't think we would tolerate World War III. Going after Greenland, I think if we even took it by force, I really don't think that the government would do or say anything. I mean, the people. I think the EU would condemn it. Russia would probably stay silent. China would probably say something, and that's it. What's anybody going to say? It's sad. Nobody wants to see war. Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt. They might even work it out. The US is clever enough. They might work it out where nobody gets hurt, and they do it. All right, y'all. I'm going to bounce. It's been real. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Do your part so that I could quit my fucking jobs and I could live a life outside of this shit. All right, thanks. See you later.